Person 101. So first off, if somebody has not written a song or a poem about your full name, it's so beautiful that it deserves something as beautiful to describe it or to kind of be announced. I have to, when I connect into these readings, say the person's name first, middle, and last over and over in my head the entire time to keep the connection with the energy. And as I was doing it for you, it just felt like a song. It was so beautiful. The title of your reading is called Help, and I don't know if that title is for me or for you because the messages that were coming through in your reading were so connected to parts of my life at this point in time. So, and this is how readings typically work. Back to back, these last two readings I've done have answered a ton of questions I've been kind of mulling over. So thank you for that and bringing that through for me. So your energy manifests onto the Rainbow Road and takes the form of like a two-dimensional puzzle board, as if you were on your kitchen table putting together a big puzzle. But it was like this flat puzzle that if you were envisioning it as like an animated cartoon character, it had like legs and arms, so it had this like mobility to it and like eyes kind of sitting on the top of it. And this was your energy, but the whole body of this like kind of cartoon character was this like two-dimensional kind of flat puzzle board. And so what would happen is this puzzle board kind of took shape and took life and started walking, and it had a picture on the front of it, and then after it walked like 3 steps, it would start breaking apart, and the puzzle pieces all started breaking apart and would fall off and on the Rainbow Road kind of scattered. And then what would happen is the puzzle board would come together, it would rebuild itself back up, and then it'd take a few more steps with a new picture, and then it'd break down again. And then it did it again, and so like in the first picture I see like rainbows, and then in the second picture I see like a husband and wife, and in the third picture I see like a teddy bear. And so I'm getting that this is kind of maybe how your life cycles go, is that and this felt very resonant with me because I use the symbolic imagery of our lives and like our intuitive lives being like puzzle pieces where you don't know how your divine purpose is coming in, but basically when another component of your divine alignment comes into your field of awareness, it feels like a puzzle piece that kind of clicks in and just makes sense, but you didn't know it. You couldn't see what that final picture was, and so you didn't know how everything was fitting together in life. But when one of these puzzle pieces comes in, it like clicks in, and it almost feels like it makes you that much more clear on what that end result or what that end picture is going to be. And so the fact that you were doing this, it was your energy doing this, kind of breaking down and then rebuilding, and it was like a new picture. I was getting that there was these times possibly in your life that you kind of made it to the peak, or you made it to a goal for you, maybe a goal you set, and as you made that goal and that puzzle was built, and you see that picture completely, then it's like you almost get not knocked down, but the puzzle kind of breaks apart completely and has to rebuild itself up from square one. And so I kind of feel like this might be something in your life that you've experienced over and over. It's that you kind of hit a goal, and then it's like, all right, I'm going to do it all over again, and you go off on a new thing, and you rebuild, and you kind of collect all these things, all these components in, and then you've gotten to the top, you've succeeded at it, and then you rebuild again. And so from here, then at the very end, I see the puzzle break down, and this time when the puzzle rebuilds, it builds this huge mountain. And instead of you having to climb the mountain, you're like on the mountain as it's building up from the base layer, and it's pushing you way up in the sky. And there's this tiny peak, like the tip of a needle point or something. So standing at the top of this mountain, it's almost like this androgynous figure with this kind of like yellow hat on, and you're holding on tightly to a flag, like a flag pole, and it has just one of those little like triangle flags on it, and you're looking, but it's almost like if you take one step, you're going to fall, and you're going to fall really far. And so I'm getting, as I'm seeing this and feeling this, living it kind of through you, that it's almost, I feel like anytime I see a mountain and somebody on a mountain, I always get this is like their perspective. This is kind of where they are in life. This is where you're seeing things from. And so you're at the top of the mountain, which is great. You've got this wonderful perspective, and I would say this is a very kind of advanced perspective. But the fact that there's fear in falling, leads me to think that we're back to that puzzle piece. It's almost like I feel like maybe you've triumphed again and you're at the top of your game and you're at this peak, this maybe crescendo. I just used that word in the last reading. I got to get rid of that. So there's this like, grand finale, but it's like, I don't want to move. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to do anything to jeopardize my point on this mountain. It's like, I have succeeded. I am here. I do not want anything to affect this. Fear has to do with root chakra, which has a lot of the times it's like fear of change, fear of the foundation breaking out from underneath you. So that's what I'm getting. It's like, I don't want to lose this. And so, of course, we break this down and this builds down. And now I'm getting that this is what I see next is the puzzle piece rebuilding. And I see as the puzzle piece rebuilds, it builds this golden staircase. And it's almost like if you would have trusted in the next move or the next adventure or the next rebuilding process, if you would have trusted in that, your next rebuild would have been this like golden stairway to like a component of this like divine alignment or this divine purpose that you couldn't even have imagined. Like I see golden staircase is always a form of going to like a god, and so it's kind of like that end golden dream type of a thing. And so as you get to the top of this staircase, basically I'm seeing you walk up the puzzle board. So as you get to the top of the staircase, there is a wooden door frame, and so this is showing me we're now moving into the next component of the reading, which is typically where you then move into the chakra column, and I can see what's going on specifically for you and where you are in your chakras. Really interesting, and this is where I started connecting a lot with you, is that you move through, and I see these elevators. It's almost like the game Frogger, but not horizontally, where he has to try and get through the lanes of traffic without getting hit by a bus. These were going vertically, and like these elevators were like going at super fast speeds, and it's almost like you were supposed to jump into it, but I was scared you were going to get hit. And so all these elevators are kind of going up and flying up, and finally you like leap and you jump into one, and it's a purple, and so it's the third eye chakra, and you get bounced back. It's like it did a like and it like bounced you back into the doorway. And so I'm going, okay. And so then you wait again, you wait, and then finally you jump again, and it's this yellow one when you land in it, and it's like ding ding, like you made the right choice. And so this is really interesting because this now connects completely to what I was kind of seeing for you before and a part of my process. So the yellow chakra, solar plexus chakra, is all about the mental body. As you leave the solar plexus chakra and go into the heart chakra, you're kind of leaving the lower self, and you're moving into more of the more higher awareness or the higher fields of awareness. And so what happens is there's a lot of confusion within the third eye chakra, which is the mental considered kind of like that clairvoyant center where you can basically like see the future, right? Everything, your perspective is dead on. You're seeing from a very high point in a human form, all of kind of like the spiritual connections and the timelines that you could choose or select from. And so there's a big there's a sense of feeling like when you're in the solar plexus chakra and you're in the mental body, you get this feeling like you have really high perspective, and you're in the third eye chakra energy center where you can see everything clearly and you know your future and you know what's best for you. But the key is in the solar plexus chakra, the key is to let go of the mental body, and it's trusting in the next leap, the next jump, which is into the heart chakra, which is releasing everything kind of to universal divine alignment. And so it's very hard for humans to let go of their mental body and to think that they know what's best for them, to let go of that, to completely give it all over to trust, and to feel that you are going to always be taken care of by a universal kind of alignment or whatever divinely is set forth for you. And so a lot of times we think we have the highest perspective, or this third eye chakra connection, where we know what our destiny is, we know what's best for us. You on that top of the mountain that had such fear in letting go. So I'm seeing that I feel like maybe you think you have this perspective, or you think you know what that lifeline, that timeline should look like, and you want to stay where you are. You want things to proceed in a manner in which you have already kind of controlled the series of events that will lead you to this final destiny point. Yet what's happening, or what I'm seeing, is that in the solar plexus chakra, you're actually too attached into this mental body, too attached to the control factor of controlling your destiny, and therefore you're not open and receptive to receiving what the highest alignment for you is at this time. So from here, then I see you jump out of the elevators, and now you turn around and you're looking at what your Akashic record is. And basically it's this huge floating kind of, it's a castle, but not. It just is like this amazing structure. A castle would be too formulated a word. I don't know. It was very ethereal and kind of supported by clouds. And there were these rainbow bridges going to get you to the Akashic records. And there were these like 7 rainbow bridges. And I had this instant feeling that as you walked up to it, that it was going to be a game, like what bridge actually connects. Like, again, we're back to Frogger. Like, I feel like maybe you're a gamer, who knows? But like these bridges, I felt like 6 of them had dead ends or were going to drop off and drop you, and one of them actually connected. And so I see you like looking and trying to think and trying to rationalize what one's going to connect. And then finally what you did was you closed your eyes, you turned backwards, and you just extended your arms, and like a trust fall, you just fell. And the 7 bridges combined into one bridge, and it came right underneath you, and it like picked you up and took you into the records. So again, this is just confirmation. It's, I think, all about trusting in the process for you, and like handing over this control that you have over your life and trusting what's going to come. And so then as you walk into the records, you move through the door, and all these rainbows are bouncing around, and all these rainbows are just kind of bouncing around but not making connections with anything. So there's all this divine light, and anytime I see a rainbow, it's very connected into the matrix, or the highest frequency possible, right? And so like this is divine healing energy. And so what I wanted to see happen was you to move into the middle of the room, and all the rainbows to kind of come inside of you, because that would have been a full connection, full realization moment. But it didn't happen. So I called down your higher self, and I'm saying, you know, what's going on here? What does she need to do? And what happens was you moved into the middle of the room. All these layers started stripping off of you, like one of those Russian dolls. Like the first layer came off, second layer came off, and like all these layers came off and just revealed this little tiny being of existence that was you. And I'm getting kind of like inner child, soul. I'm getting all of these kind of words, right? And so I get that this is like the most vulnerable part of you. And this is what happened. Like, or this is kind of what I'm getting, is that, you know, the vulnerability of giving away that control and allowing yourself to trust in what's going to happen around you. And that's the state that you need to finally accept that highest, most divine frequency, which is like represented here as these rainbows. So as soon as you became that little tiny being of yourself, the most vulnerable component of yourself, all the rainbows started filling you, and as every rainbow entered you, it made you bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger. And finally, then I asked your higher self, I said, okay, what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time? And they said, you can't be reactionary, that you can't be controlling, you can't be reactionary, that you have to be receptive, and that you have to like almost like soften your skin and allow the world around you to align into your field. But when you're so controlling and when you're so calculated, that it's almost gonna make your field rigid. And when you're rigid, you're not accepting that most divine alignment and witnessing those things that are kind of aligning to you. And so when you're so calculated, you're pushing out the divinity in your life, and it's allowing yourself to be vulnerable, soft, and receptive to accept all of those energies into your life. So with light and love.